We're in Sunshine Coast and there's no sunshine. We travelled up from Melbourne to try and get a bit of an escape up in the sun, and turns out we've come here when there's a typhoon just kind of sitting off the coast. So it's all grey, it's very windy, and you can't swim in the sea.
And don't swim in the sea!
I wanted to set myself the challenge of just shooting with one lens while we're here, partly as a kind of limitation, but also mainly because Jetstar's weight limit is really strict and I couldn't afford to bring anything heavier with me. So I'm just shooting on a 35mm lens, which is probably my favourite lens I have. It's just such a nice little go anywhere street photography lens, and it just produces some really nice images as well. I think we're going to be spending a lot of time in the next few days just avoiding the rain, and the light's going to be a bit pants. So it's going to be a bit interesting, but we'll go and find what we can see. So the first stop is going to be going for a bit of a hike around Noosa Head and hopefully go and see some of the crazy waves happening offshore. I think we're going to get waves up to like 5-6 metres over the next few days.
We first stopped off at this little market on the way up the coast, since we're both suckers for some overpriced homemade tat. Plus, there's always some good dog spotting at places like this. We took a walk down to the beach too. It's wild to see it closed. They were like this all the way down the coast of southern Queensland. Up to Noosa, and the surfers were out in force here. And this bit of beach was tucked around the headland, and I think it's usually pretty calm, but the cyclone that was sitting offshore was causing these pretty epic waves today. We tried to head further into the national park, and reality struck.
Pretty wet.
Yeah.
Don't go to a brewery.
Yeah.
Fun fact, this is a normal size pint glass and Anna is actually 14 feet tall. The next day and we go again. It's time to tick off a bucket list item for both of us as we head up to Australia Zoo. This was Steve Irwin's place, and his parents actually opened this place in 1970 as a little reptile park, but these days it's a huge site, with a few of the crocs that Steve himself rescued still living here. I wouldn't usually take a camera to the zoo, but since I'm sticking with only using a 35mm lens, I thought it would be a fun little challenge since it's a pretty wide focal length and I'd have to think about either framing in more of the environment or getting up pretty close to the subject. Sadly, the keepers wouldn't let me do the latter with the crocodiles in the park. Speaking of crocs, we were blown away to see Robert Irwin, the modern day Aussie legend, feeding them himself in the croc show. This place had a few opportunities to get up close with some of the animals, and it really helped with using such a wide lens. But even for some of the bigger areas, it really made me think about framing in more of what was around me too. Also loved these rhinos covered in the red dirt, such a weird little Australian African hybrid. On the way home, and the sky actually seemed to open up a bit, and we went to bed hopeful that we might have swerved the impending cyclone.
This is amazing around here. We came down for sunrise at about 5:45 this morning, and you never guess it, but Cyclone Alfred's on the way. So we've cut our trip short. We're going back down to Melbourne today, which I'm kind of gutted about it because there's loads of stuff up around here that we still love to do around Noosa. But it's kind of how it goes. So back down we go. It's been really good to just try and take pictures with one lens. It's been a really nice way of framing stuff I don't usually do. I'm going to wrap things up here because there's two little Dachshunds coming in and Anna's about to lose her mind. Okay, bye.